Welcome back to the Goddess Corner podcast, where we explore history, culture, religion, and the stories many of us were never taught. Today's conversation comes with a mature content disclaimer. Did missionaries really invent the missionary position intimacy between man and woman? History, myth, or colonial propaganda? When Europeans arrived in Africa during the colonial era, they didn't come only with ships, trade, or military power. Many also came as missionaries, carrying the Bible and a vision of how society should look. They preached about religion. They preached about marriage. They preached about morality. And they also taught their views about sexuality. But here's the question that has sparked debates around the world. Did missionaries really introduce what we now call the missionary position during intimacy? Or is that simply one of history's greatest myths? Let's examine the evidence. First, let's separate fact from legend. Many African societies had rich traditions concerning marriage, fertility, intimacy, and family life long before Europeans arrived. Indeed, it's important to remember that Africa was never one culture. Customs differed wildly between kingdoms, clans, and ethnic groups. Likewise, many societies around the world, including in Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas, had knowledge of many different sexual positions long before colonialism. So the idea that one position suddenly appeared because missionaries introduced it doesn't fit the historical record. Exactly, it has much deeper roots. Yes, our traditions were well established long before. A rich, complex history. What missionaries did bring was a particular moral framework. They generally encouraged monogamous marriage, which is the ideal, modesty according to their beliefs, not ours, sexual restraint outside marriage, and Christian teachings about family life, which we Africans already had an established system which they considered evil or bad. In many places, they discouraged practices they considered immoral according to their religious beliefs, but they forgot that these communities have their own beliefs, traditions, and cultural values. This had significant social and cultural effects on indigenous peoples. Now let's discuss the phrase itself, missionary position. Many people believe the name came from missionaries telling indigenous people that this was the only acceptable position during sex. It's an interesting story, but having really searched for direct evidence and haven't seen a convincing proof, people believe missionaries who came here were the ones that officially taught or enforced one specific sexual position which they considered good. Due to their religious beliefs and moral convictions, perhaps the missionaries forgot that the indigenous peoples were living before the arrival of the colonial powers and rule and religious propagandas. Instead, many scholars believe the term became popular much later in the 20th century after it appeared in discussions about human sexuality. In other words, the name may have spread through popular culture more than through actual missionary instruction. And the fear of the invaders called colonial power and rules. Does that mean the legend is completely true or false? Not necessarily. History is full of stories that grow from small observations. It's possible that in some places missionaries expressed opinions about sexual behavior. It is also possible that local communities remembered those teachings in different ways and understanding due to religious beliefs and teachings. But historians distinguish between oral tradition and documented historical evidence. At present, individuals and communities believe the missionary introduced it due to belief and it became famous and enough evidence to conclude that missionaries invented the position or officially named it. This discussion also raises a broader question. How much of our understanding of African history comes directly from African voices? And how much comes from colonial records? Colonial governments and missionaries documented many aspects of African societies, but those records reflected their own perspectives and values, and what they want the people to know outside the real story. Modern historians therefore compare written records, archaeology, linguistics, oral traditions, and local histories to build a fuller picture. So where does that leave us? The evidence suggests that human sexual behavior has always been diverse across cultures. Christian missionaries promoted particular moral teachings which is suitable to their beliefs and practices. The origin of the term missionary position remains an introductory of the missionaries. The popular explanation linking the name directly to missionaries is widely regarded as a legend rather than a proven historical fact. European missionaries often promoted Christian sexual ethics that emphasized monogamy and regarded many indigenous sexual customs as immoral. Missionaries in various parts of Africa discouraged open discussion of sexuality, sought to replace local customs with Christian moral teachings. Some African societies practices polygyny long before European colonization, and missionaries generally opposed it. European missionaries brought Christian teachings that emphasize monogamy and certain sexual morals. In many African societies, this conflicted with existing customs surrounding marriage, sexuality, and family life. History becomes richer when we ask difficult questions. Sometimes the answers confirm what we've always believed. Sometimes they challenge us to separate evidence from tradition. Either way, asking questions is how we learn. Thank you for joining today's discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who loves history, culture, and thoughtful conversations. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the stories behind the stories. See you soon. Bye. Click the link in my bio to watch the full episode and more on my YouTube channel. Bye. Bye.